Welcome back to Pack Mentality. I'm Matt Banwart. My wife Caitlin and I own Red Wolf CrossFit in Huntington Beach, California. And we started this podcast with one goal in mind, and that was to make fitness education accessible, engaging, and effective for everyone. Today, I'm on with Coach Krista, and she's going to be talking about this genius strategy on how to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. And she's broken it down to 8 easy steps for you, and we're going to be going through them one by one. So if you're looking to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, this is for you. Krista, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So good to have you again.
Yeah.
Welcome back. You excited for this one?
Of course.
All right.
First,
Very
give
cool.
everybody the tips and tricks.
All right, let's do it. Let's get right into number 1. So I'm going over your notes right here. It says number 1 says stop eating fast food and gas station snacks. Now, I like this one a lot because it's so easy to go for convenience. I think this is a problem people struggle with, even if it's subconsciously. So can you kind of dive into more of that for us?
Yeah. So let's start before the 8 steps. There's three key ingredients.
Okay.
So your diet, your lifestyle, and your exercise. So breaking that down into diet, we'll start, step 1.
Okay. Got it.
This way it makes it easier so that people can realize what's in my diet, what's in my lifestyle, what's in my exercise.
100%. I got you.
So fast food, gas station food, generally are not going to be the healthiest. And also you think of the amount of time that they're sitting out to be consumed. You think of the roller hot dogs. They could have sat there for 8 hours. You have no idea.
That is true.
Over top of the grease that they're just constantly spraying over and over again. And then, obviously fast food is going to be probably the lowest quality protein that there is out there. So if you look at majority of the chain restaurants, they have very poor quality protein. So if you are looking to gain muscle, that's probably not going to be the best source to go to.
Yeah, that's a great point because I remember a chef posted this. This was even a nutrition post, but I saw this online, and then they said a very easy way to make anything taste better is to add salt and fat to everything.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, I'm never eating out again.
Yeah.
And this was like someone who was like not like a fast food chef. This was like a legitimate chef. I can't remember who it was, but I saw his Instagram, and it was like cooking tips actually. Like, oh my God. And yeah, so can you kind of dive in a little bit more of why specifically fast food is bad, more than just because the fact that the quality of their ingredients is bad? Can you tell us why they're bad in the first place?
Sure. So a lot of the processed foods that are at gas station, when you think of processed foods, you think of food manufacturers. When they develop a food, regardless of what it is, their goal is to make that food in under 3 chews to be consumed.
Interesting.
Crazy. So you're stripping all of the fiber, the good vitamins, the good minerals in those foods so that we can chew it and be lazy Americans, 1, 2, 3, swallow. And most people chew in only 5 chews to swallow anything that they eat.
Wow.
So that's ultimately their goal is let's make this so that we can consume it fast. We're on the drive. We're sitting in front of a computer. So the quality of the food, more than just the meat, the flour tortillas at Taco Bell, the buns at McDonald's and In-N-Out are all going to be what we like to call empty calories. So there's very little fiber, if any. So generally they take the flour, they bleach it, right? White flour is bleached, which strips it of all nutrition, nutrients, vitamins, minerals. And then they grind it down to strip out as much fiber as possible. So you're really not getting full from that, because if you don't have the fiber is that indicator that your stomach is full. Hey, we don't need to eat anymore. So you have those empty calories and you're like, oh, I'm still hungry after eating, a 3x3 at In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Got to eat more.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed too, specifically about even things like In-N-Out, people kind of see that as because that's maybe a healthier option, quote unquote, than like say McDonald's or Arby's or like something else, but they still use very fatty beef. Even though if maybe the meat quality is slightly better, it's like you're consuming almost a 1-to-1 ratio of protein and fat. And that fat also adds up when you added like fries and then the sauces and everything on top of that as well.
Yeah. You think about, the 73, 17 beef that they may use compared to what we would use at home, like a 94.6.
Yeah.
And the calorie content is almost double.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot even about the calorie content. Yeah, because fat's so much higher in calories. Oh
yeah. So when you're getting the lower quality meat, you're getting a lot more of the fat because they're not gonna. It's cheaper for a fast food or gas station company to go with the 73, 17 or, whatever lower quality beef that they're picking out.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good to know. And also causes an inflammatory response as well.
Yeah.
When you have processed foods and fried foods and everything like that. So it impedes your recovery from your workouts as well. And if your brain and your body's in an inflammatory state, you're not going to be able to function as well or feel as good as you could.
Right. You're going to wake up in the morning, your alarm's set to go work out and you're like, oh, hurt? No, no, I'm going to stay in snooze.
Yeah, exactly. All right, great. So that affects energy balance as well. So we're moving into number 2, which is no processed foods. Can you define processed foods for us so that way those of us listening who don't know what that is, they'll have a better understanding?
Sure. Probably the easiest way to think of it is anything in a box or a bag, that comes in the middle of the store, right? The middle of the store that we shop through the aisles that are usually sitting up on the shelves are going to be something that has preservatives, can sit out at room temperature, and not, oxidize after a couple weeks. So when you think of you're buying something and it's not refrigerated, there has to be a preservative in it. Back to the process, we think of the strict ingredients. So the food manufacturers, the 3 chews, processed foods are all of those foods. So they're majority of the time going to be super empty calories. That doesn't have a lot of nutrition. Think of Cheez-Its and crackers and cookies. Even, sometimes they tout the healthier crackers. They're still processed at the end of the day. And so when you can try to stay away from the processed foods and get whole foods, they say shop the outside of the grocery store, the perimeter, those are going to be the whole foods that maybe don't always have a ingredients label. You put it in a bag, like your fruits, your vegetables. Right. Sometimes the meat, they don't have a nutrition fact panel. Generally, that's going to be hey, this is probably a whole real food versus something in a colorful box or bag.
Right. And tell us more about kind of like these first 2 steps of fast food, gas station snacks, and processed foods. How does that impede muscle gain and help and make you gain more fat?
Sure. To me, it's kind of common sense. You think of you're going to go work out and you have to eat afterwards. So you can either have whole food or you can hit up the drive-thru on the way home. And when you have that gas station or drive-through food, it's not whole food. It's not real food. It doesn't have the nutrients and vitamins and minerals in it that a whole real chicken breast would have. You're going through a drive-through and you get fried chicken. If you've ever taken the breading off, it's probably about that thin, right? And you're not getting a lot of protein in that. And then they give you a huge pile of fries. Do we even count that as a vegetable? I mean, I know it's made of a potato, but
no, it's a starch.
It's sitting in vegetable oil, which is a inflammatory oil as well. So when we think about what causes inflammation is usually the omega-6 fatty acids that we are over consuming too much of. So all of the nut and seed oils are going to be those inflammatory causing things. So stay away from fried foods is probably the best way to say that.
Okay.
Yep.
And follow-up question to that. So how does an inflammatory response when we eat these foods affect fat gain?
Sure. Typically? So your body, when you are inflamed, your body is targeting healing. Well, first of all, it's targeting, inflammation, pain, and triggers to fight against your own body. And so when we try to avoid those foods go away, but you're inflamed. So your body is focused on inflaming your body. It's not focused on making it better and growing and developing. It's focused on attacking it, which we don't want.
Yeah. So you're pretty much just, taking more steps backwards from recovering in the first place. And obviously, since these foods also have a lot less protein, a lot higher fat in it. Obviously, fat is, if you overeat on fat, right, you're going to store it because you can't burn it for fuel because the body already has enough. And if you're eating not even enough protein, then your muscles won't even be able to repair as well, and you're not getting enough protein from these.
And because of that fat, way too many calories, which is on weight gain.
Exactly. Your calorie surplus very easily. And I notice that when I do track my macros, it's really easy to overeat on fat. And from a calorie standpoint, I don't realize when I actually scan labels and actually log everything, I'm like, man, like fat is tough.
A majority of the people that do track with me say the same thing. I never knew I ate that much fat.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm so glad you learned that from your tracking for a whole whopping 4 days.
It's high calorie and very easy to consume, which is a big reason why people struggle with losing body fat as well. All right, let's go move on to number 3. So it says eat whole, real foods of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So lean meat, veggies, nuts and seeds, some fruit, and little starch. Now, this seems pretty obvious, and I think that the majority of people listening to this already know this, but what stops people from executing on this?
Being proactive. So most people are reactive eaters. Like, man, it's lunchtime. I need to go get something. Instead of, on Sunday, I meal prepped. You know, I have lunch ready to go for me to just grab my Tupperware and go. Most people are not proactive nowadays. You know, we think of when you have a kid, you pack the diaper bag. We don't do that for ourselves anymore. You know, we just go out the door, rush to work, and then think, oh, you know, I have an hour to kill, so I'm going to go across the street and grab something at the gas station or fast food joint instead of being proactive. So I think it's a lot of the habit. Like, yes, we know what we should be eating. Majority of people know what they should be eating, but they don't because of being proactive. They're not proactive. They're reactive. So if they took the time to sit down and plan, like, hey, I have 21 meals I have to eat this week. You got a grocery shop for 21 meals. A lot of people don't. They'll just get, you know, something for dinner that night and completely forget the rest of the week, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. And when you think about it, we kind of pretty much rotate the same 7 meals on average. So, I mean, you may say 21, but you really you only really need like 7 solid ones, and you just keep rotating it, maybe make a few changes here and there. But at least I found that I really only eat the same 7 meals that just rotate, and maybe I'll make a few changes here and there or mix and match. But, you know, I did find that once I dialed in 7 meals, I'm like, okay, I kind of got a beat on this, and then I don't have to weigh and measure as much anymore. It's a lot more simple. So anyway, that's just what worked for me. I just thought I'd bring that up.
And the order that we listed this is actually CrossFit's prescription on how to eat properly, is lean meat, veggies. So in this order is how you're supposed to eat. Meat, veggies, then move to nuts and seeds, then some fruit, then little starch. So most of us are having starch right after veggies, right? Which is also jacking up your insulin level, jacking up you know, the way that you're breaking down food. So we want to make sure to probably cut out a lot of the starches. A lot of Americans probably eat 65% carbohydrates when it should be about 30 to 40.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So yeah,
the only time you really need to eat that much carbs in terms of a ratio is probably if you're a hyper endurance athlete.
Right. Yeah, because for a marathoner.
Yeah, because they need the sugars and the carbohydrates and the starches to fuel their muscles for that amount of volume. Okay, good to know. So kind of bringing all this back in, kind of like a pause here, but how are these first 3 things so far? You know, how does this help you or work against you in terms of gaining muscle and losing fat?
Sure. So the real food, right? You're eating real whole food, which is not altered by the food manufacturers. And then you're going to get the best nutrients. So back to that, you know, higher quality meat that we are probably choosing to eat, that's going to fuel your muscles a lot better. That, you know, 94.6 or 93.7% of meat that you're eating versus that 73.17. So when you're eating better, whole, leaner protein, that's going right to you versus you know, back to that little chicken strip.
Yeah, it's just
not going to cover, that might cover part of my shoulder from a workout.
Yeah.
But it's not going to cover my legs and,
exactly.
You know, and then so I'm breaking down other parts of my body. If you don't have enough protein, your body will target other areas to break down to fill up that glycogen storage again.
Interesting. So what parts of the body will do that?
Any part of your body that is lacking in stimulation will be what's broken down.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. And then tell us a little bit more about specifically the losing fat portion. So, you know, how do we, you know, I mean, obviously we want to avoid these things in order to lose fat, but kind of give us like a quick summary of where we are so far on how to actually lose fat and gain muscle at the same time.
Sure. So if you think of your gas station or drive-through food, okay, that one meal. I'm trying to think of, the last time I went to In-N-Out, I think the double was like 820 calories or something
for just the double without fries.
Yes.
Wow.
So when you think of that, wow, I could make a way better, healthier burger with way less calories at home. You could choose not have the bun too, if you just want straight more protein. And that's maybe 400 calories. So you get half the amount.
With the same amount of consumption of food, which fills you up more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you eat something that's 800 calories and it doesn't fill you up as much because it's processed and you're going to be reaching for something else, and let's be real, the majority of people listening to this probably don't burn that many calories in order to justify, consuming an 800 calorie burger. And then God knows if you add fries on top of that, you're already over like 12, 1,500 calories just from one meal.
Right.
And that's not going to keep you full either.
Right.
And so you have to even eat any more. So by the end of the day, you could be up to 4,000 calories. And then you're wondering why you're not losing weight and why you're not gaining muscle because you're not eating enough protein.
And that's consistent for a pound gain per week.
Yes.
Too.
And then so you're not gaining muscle because you're not eating enough protein, and then you're also gaining fat because you're in a calorie surplus. And it is storing all those extra calories and all that extra fat for fuel later.
And the other point that I'd like to share that's kind of different from obviously our topic, the amount of time that you're sitting in a drive-through. I want you to time yourself from start to finish. You're sitting in that drive-through 17 to 20 minutes. Do you know how long it takes to meal prep?
17 to 20
minutes. Beef.
Yeah.
Less than 10 minutes. Healthier. So another thing that I pay attention to.
That's really interesting. I think that's very relevant. Thank you for bringing that up. And let's take a quick pause here, everybody. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And, we do this for free. We're not looking to run ads or make any money or become influencers off this. So if you could just share this with a friend or leave us a review, that would keep us motivated to keep making this for free and keep helping you guys out. I'd really appreciate it because we love doing this. And if we get feedback and we see that, we have more listeners and we're getting more ratings, then we'll keep making this and we'll keep making it better for you guys. Back to the show. That was my commercial.
I love it.
All right, let's move on to number 4. So we have strength training 3 to 4 times a week to build muscle with functional compound movements, multi-joint movements, just like how CrossFit does with progressive overload. I love this one. Number 4, this is probably one of my favorite ones because we see this as a huge deficit that most people come in with, even if they have fitness experience, even if they have been lifting weights, they haven't been doing it as frequently as they should. They also haven't been doing it with as heavy as they should, and they haven't been doing the right exercises as well. So can you kind of dig into this a little bit for us?
Yeah. So when you are strength training, you're actually building that muscle, right? So you think of The Rock, right? Huge, lots of muscle. You have that metabolic tissue to burn more calories. So for instance, The Rock eats about 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, which most of us would love to be able to do. But that's because he has so much muscle. So as we are in that state of trying to build muscle, if you think about it, I like to use the example of a pregnant woman, right? A pregnant woman needs to eat extra calories to feed that baby. Same when you're gaining muscle. Think of, you have a baby here, you have a baby here, you have a baby here. You're trying to fuel that muscle now, but you have to work it up, right? You have to stimulate it, get that blood flow, put it through some strenuous stress in order for it to be activated for your calories to say, hey, I need to go there to heal and grow that muscle. And then the progressive overload is you are adding weight. So when you're adding weight, you're activating more muscle fibers, which then makes them bigger and needs more energy to heal that state. The cool thing about working out is sometimes you can burn up to 24 hours later from the workout you did the day before because your muscle's still healing.
Interesting. I was not aware of that. That's really good to know. So that's another way where it's really easy to burn muscle. Burn fat or lose fat and gain muscle at the same time because, strength training yields a higher caloric burn, especially when you do it the right way over the right amount of time. And then also, as you gain muscle mass, your basal metabolic rate increases as well. So that's really good to know. Anything else you'd like to cover on that with the strength training, the muscle building?
So you think of, the trainer in 24 hour that's just going to help you do curls. Okay, so multi-joint. Multi-joint is the movements CrossFit does. A thruster, a deadlift, using multiple joints. So the difference when you're doing multi-joints versus just that bicep curl is you're actually tapping into your hormone levels in making that mind better and then also helping burn that fat. So when I took my L1, they actually went over the research of multi-joint burns better than just isolated one area of your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is crazy. Most people are like, oh, a calf raise, this is cool. No, if you do a whole squat into a press, that's a lot more work. And you're also hitting that you're hitting that metabolic pathway you activate, but you're also helping your hormone levels be able to influence that weight loss versus just one movement instead of multi-joint.
Absolutely. You're also saving time. I know this is off subject, but you're also saving a ton of time because when you do the multi-joint movements, you're getting a bigger bang for your buck. You're working multiple large muscle groups all at once as well. And then, like you said earlier, it's more metabolic, which literally means that metabolism or coming from the metabolism. So you're literally using food as a fuel source, which is more effective at fat loss specifically as well when you're training. So, why am I wrong?
No. Hit it on the head.
Thank God I got that right.
Yeah.
Because I've been saying that forever. Let's see. Let's move on to cardiovascular exercise. So this is very important. I think there's a lot of bad information about cardio. They're like, hey, don't do cardio for fat losses. And then also only do cardio for fat loss. So let's kind of dig into this a little bit. So run, bike, ski, burpee, box jumps performed all at high intensity. So let's chat about this.
Yeah, so when you think of the formula for a week, you want to do 3 to 4 times of that strength training. And then the rest of the week, your metabolically active movement of, running, biking, ski erg, burpees, all that. So what that is actually doing, that is helping your insulin resistance recognize hey, I'm okay to stop producing insulin. A lot of Americans, unfortunately, we're just constantly dumping sugar. So your insulin's like this all day long. When you exercise, your body gets that break back to that hormone balance. So glucagon is actually the hormone working when insulin is not. So insulin has the opportunity to relax, and then your insulin level becomes a little bit better when you have the opportunity to have a break. Same when you sleep overnight, your insulin has an opportunity to have a break. And then it will be better, more effective when you need it after eating again. So anytime you're allowed to give it that break, that rest period, instead of constantly be pumping just going your bloodstream, will make it a lot more effective.
Okay, awesome. And can you explain in layman's terms for everybody, just so we have a better understanding, the difference between insulin, glucagon, glycogen, and glucose?
Sure. So insulin is the hormone that carries the food that you're eating think of it as like a car transporting those nutrients to whatever cell they need to go to. So insulin is super important in making sure that we uptake the nutrition. Glucagon is going to be the hormone that is active when your insulin is not. So they can't be activating at the same time. So glucagon gives the opportunity for insulin to have that break and allows your body to do the other metabolic activity instead of feeding the muscles. So this is where the glycogen's broken down and given that energy to your body in other areas.
Okay, interesting.
And what were the last two?
I think I said we covered glucagon just now.
Yep.
It was glycogen.
Okay. Yep.
Glycogen, I think, is the next one.
Glycogen. So glycogen is your storage of glucose. So glucose is your sugar, right? Your blood sugar. Glycogen is the storage source. So say you had a lot of glucose, your body's smart and is like, okay, let's fuel this in your muscles specifically. Glycogen is stored in your muscles and also your liver. So those are when you are doing your aerobic exercises, that's where your body taps into for energy. Say you work out and you don't have, first thing in the morning, you don't eat, right? So you want to, at that point, then, sorry, I'm really distracted at this moment.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Camera turned off.
No worries. So your glycogen at that point is then going to be giving you that glucose. So it breaks down so that your glucose is able to fuel your muscles during that workout. That's why it's so important after you work out to refuel right away. Otherwise, that's where your body's breaking down muscles in other areas to fuel where you just worked out. So it's really important to consume protein right after a workout to heal what you just stimulated and stressed.
Okay, awesome. No, that's really good to know. So we cover, what was it? We covered insulin, glucagon, glycogen, and then there was one more, glucose.
Yeah, so glucose
is that
blood
one?
sugar.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Blood sugar.
Perfect. So we already covered that.
Yep.
Awesome. Good to know. Thank you for explaining that. I know that I'm sure people would have questions about that. So it's good to know that, no, it's really easy to get all those mixed up because they all kind of work synergistically as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to, so we covered, sorry, do you still want to go over more of the cardiovascular exercise?
Just make sure that it's performed at high intensity.
Okay.
So the definition of CrossFit is constantly varied functional movement performed at high intensity. So you're not going to walk on a treadmill at 1 mile per hour. That's, I mean, you can argue that that's still cardiovascular, but it's not at a high intensity, right? So you want to get that heart rate above ideally 130.
Right. And explain to us how that would help us lose fat.
So what you're doing at that point when your blood pressure, right, and your heart rate is jacked, your glycogen is breaking down, okay, and then your body's needing fuel source. So glycogen goes first, and then it's going to the fat to burn. So back to the workout you didn't eat, you're going to burn your glycogen first. Once the glycogen's gone, you're tapping into that fat.
Okay.
So the longer you can work out, the better.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really good to know. Okay, so you do have to have the intensity because it drains your glycogen a lot faster, getting that fat burning zone as well. And then does cardiovascular exercise help build muscle at all?
Of course, yes. You think of all the compound movements you did. We always pair it in CrossFit. We always pair it with cardio because we want to flush out the blood that was just stimulated to that area, right? We want to make our body uniform and moving, the blood everywhere else as well. But then that's where your heart's doing a lot of the work, right? Your heart is pumping all that blood. Your lungs then, in that cardiovascular state is doing a lot more work. So you have more organs working harder, which therefore burns more energy, which therefore burns more fat.
Exactly. I know. It's so funny how when you really break it down, how simple it is, but, it holds a lot of people back, right? Is like, it kind of like what you said, it was just, preparing and then just execution in the first place as well. Really good to know, especially about I've totally forgot about the organs and them working harder. Because when you think about it, we were talking earlier about the isolation exercises and everything. Not that those aren't great, but especially when the majority of us, the biggest excuse I hear anyways is lack of time. So it's like, okay, why are you going to waste time doing this? And then also, now you bring it up, the organs aren't working as hard. So why wouldn't you want to do something like CrossFit and get it done in a fraction amount of the time? And then also maximize your calorie burn, maximize your fat burning, and also maximize the amount of muscle that you're putting on in the shortest amount of time possible.
And even the sweat. So a lot of people don't even think about sweat. I've heard a lot of clients say, I'm allergic to sweat. I hate sweating. When your pores are dripping out water, that is your body's way of cooling it down. But you also think about your blood is losing that water. So a lot of that energy is also going to cooling you down as you're sweating, as you're dripping in sweat. So in a cardiovascular state, you are jacking up, the amount of sweat coming out versus just doing that isolated movement. There's been strength training days where we've done where, we just do strength training the whole time. A lot of people don't sweat during that time. But when we do cardiovascular, everybody's dripping in sweat.
Yeah, that's a great point. Awesome. Thank you for covering that. That's really good to know. Let's move into hydration.
Yeah, so lifestyle.
So the lifestyle stuff. So let's move into hydration. Tell us how hydration affects both muscle gain and fat loss.
Sure. So hydration is going to help you not have carb craving. So for every gram of carbohydrate holds on to 3 grams of water. So a lot of times we go to the fridge and we're like, I want that sweet treat. It's really we're dehydrated. 72% of Americans are chronically dehydrated.
Really? It's that high?
Yeah.
And what's the reason for that?
We're drinking probably caffeine, water to most people is kind of boring. So I totally sympathize, and empathize that maybe they're choosing other sources to get a beverage instead of going to what they should.
Okay.
They're going to go to that coffee or they're going to go to that soda or, some sort of other beverage besides water because most people, want a stimulant majority of the day. So the water will help curb that carb craving, helps your stomach feel a little more full, and then therefore you're not going constantly to get more carbs and then back on that blood sugar roller coaster, right?
Okay, so essentially water will help kind of, it will just kind of curb some of those cravings. Am I right? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then can you tell us about how hydration affects muscle?
Yeah, so you think about, working out and you're sweating, both. We're doing both in CrossFit. You're losing a lot of valuable electrolytes and minerals. And when we rehydrate, hopefully we're using a water that has, some sort of electrolytes in it, whether that's spring water or we're adding some sort of salty hydration packet to our water, that will help the muscles be able to contract. So electrolytes help the muscle contraction and also your nerve function. So those are 2 key ingredients that water helps put into the muscle with the electrolytes. And then you also think of the sweat, right? So again, as you sweat, the water's coming out of your blood to hydrate you, your skin, to cool your skin down. Your blood is thicker. Think of sludge pumping through instead of nice viscous blood. So when you're hydrating, you prevent headaches, you prevent the carb cravings, and then your muscles have the ability to contract a lot better and not get those cramps.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Very good to know. Yeah. So muscle contractions is definitely something that is really easy to forget about, and how much proper hydration and nutrition also will affect that. And then obviously the more energy you have and the better muscle contractions you have, the better workout you have, guess what? It's going to be a lot easier to, gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. Very interesting.
I've been in classes where people have had such intense cramps from the workout before that I can't do this workout. I have nothing but a hamstring cramp this entire time because they didn't have hydration and electrolyte.
Right.
So they just wasted a whole workout because they weren't proactive in having water and electrolytes.
Yeah.
So they skipped a whole workout because of a cramp.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just one of those things where, you just have to make the time to set yourself up for success, essentially. Is there anything else you want to cover on hydration that we missed?
How much to drink?
Let's talk about that.
Obviously, your little 16-ounce water bottle is not enough for the day. You want to be drinking half your body weight in fluid ounces. So if you're 150 pounds, you want to be drinking at least 75 fluid ounces a day.
Okay.
And again, that spring water is going to have electrolytes in it. Purified is usually stripped of any sort of electrolytes.
Okay, that's really good to know. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, good to know. Thank you. Is there any other fun facts kind of like that anyone needs to know about their water?
The pH. So there's special water out there now that has a higher pH level. So the alkaline balance in water helps prevent also any sort of inflammation. So when we're in an acidic state, an alkaline balance of water will help bring out that lactic acid and balance it. So if you think of a negative ion, acidic, and you think of alkaline as positive, when they pair together, they're neutral. Easiest way to explain it.
Okay, no, that's really helpful. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Move on to the next one. Let's talk about sleep. This is probably not going to be a popular subject, but this is probably one of the most important ones in order to especially gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. So let's what was like your number one thing with sleep to do both of these?
So sleep is so key in allowing those muscles to heal, right? So you just did the stimulation. So you think of the muscle fibers rubbing back and forth, right? Like any friction, you're creating pain, stress. When you stop that, it allows it to heal, and then it heals bigger. Your muscles get bigger, which is great. Sleep allows you to recover. Your hormones are releasing, no longer insulin. They're releasing healing properties. At night, your temperature in your blood in your body jacks up to help burn off anything you've counteracted throughout the day. And it's just the best healing state for your body to recover. Same with a rest day. Sometimes those are essential to allowing us to giving what we just stimulated the opportunity to heal and grow.
Okay, awesome. And what happens in terms of muscle gain and fat loss if we don't get enough sleep?
So you think of, you had 3 hours of sleep and you have to go to work. You immediately are going to go hit up, Starbucks and get a coffee because you just didn't have enough sleep. Throughout the entire day, you are going to need more calories because you didn't have enough sleep. So most people who chronically don't get enough sleep are eating more because they don't have that energy from the sleep. So the way to get energy if you don't have enough sleep is to eat more. So the people that aren't getting enough sleep are eating way more than they need to.
Okay.
Stay awake.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that affect muscle gain as well? So I mean, obviously that's going to affect, you're going to be in a calorie surplus, which is, and I'm sure that not getting enough sleep will also elevate your cortisol, which is a fat storage hormone as well. So it's kind of like a double whammy. But how does that affect muscle gain?
So sleep is very essential into healing and allowing us to have the opportunity for those muscles to have a break so that they can grow. If they're not given the opportunity to have a break, and you think of any vehicle you have, you don't give it an opportunity to shut off and cool down, it's going to overheat and die.
Mm-hmm.
So same with your body. If you're just constantly pushing it and you're never giving it the opportunity to have a break. You look at athletes who do sometimes do 2-a-day workouts times 7 days a week. They're chronically injured a lot because they aren't giving their body the opportunity to rest. But on the flip side, you get enough rest, you are seeing results in muscle gain because you allowed, that 6 to 9 hours to have that break to allow those muscles to recover so that they're ready to go back again. Mm-hmm. Same with, shutting off that vehicle and allowing it to have that rest so it's not going to overheat and constantly keep burning calories. So think of it that way too, is if you're not getting sleep, you're up, you're burning more calories. You're awake, anytime you're awake and moving, you're burning more calories. And when we sleep, we have the opportunity to allow things to grow. So at night, super crucial to have the muscles to have that opportunity to have a break, for the blood to target, as you're sleeping, healing state in that area. And then in the morning, up and ready to go at it again.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Is there any direct correlation to the time of night that you go to bed and the time of day or time in the morning that you wake up?
Ooh, that's a good question. So the research that I have shown is you are best as an athlete when you are with the circadian balance of the sun.
Okay.
So waking up when the sun comes up, going to bed when the sun goes down is the way that our bodies were designed to operate around the sun. The way that our metabolism works best is when the sun is up, that's when our metabolism is burning best. When the sun is down, that is our indication to be resting and recovering. It depends on when people have to wake up and go to work. But I guess if you do the math of what's 7 to 9 hours is usually the best amount of time that you want to sleep.
Okay.
At least 7.
At least 7
Mm-hmm.
is like the minimum for you. Okay.
Yep. So, if you have to work out at 5 a.m., you do the math of what's -7, and then I got to, wake up and make myself something to drink before I leave for the gym, and do the math backwards and making sure you're going to bed at that time the night before.
And that's actual sleep, not just time in bed as well. Because I think sometimes you'll do the math and be like, oh, well, I'm going to go to bed now because it's 7 hours before I have to wake up. But we also don't factor in the time it actually takes to fall asleep.
Sure.
So you actually have to time that as well. Is that something that you think would affect, fat and muscle gain?
If you had caffeine at 2:00 and you go to bed, say you go to bed at 8:00,
Yeah.
I gotta be up at 4 a.m. You have that caffeine still pulsing through you, and you're just gonna lay there, and you're not gonna fall asleep. So yeah, there are lifestyle factors that you want to influence. Of if I need to go to bed by 8:00 to be up by 4 a.m., then I need to stop drinking caffeine before noon. And so even if you have a psychological problem, you're laying in bed and you're just dwelling on this problem and this stress, you're not going to fall asleep. So, sometimes the simple breath work of counting your breaths helps you slow down and get tired to fall asleep is one thing that I've helped clients with, is some breath work before bed.
Okay, good to know. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the breath work? Sure. and how that affects or how that would help you fall asleep faster?
Sure. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Wim Hof method.
I don't think I have.
So when you're breathing in, you are putting oxygen into your body, right? You're putting oxygen into your bloodstream, which is going to everywhere, every muscle and every organ. So as you're breathing in, a lot of us are very shallow breathers. But when you do breath work with a coach, they're going to make you expand all the way down into your belly.
Okay.
And what you're doing is you're surplusing way more oxygen into your body. So the Wim Hof method, he does rapid breathing really, really fast. And until you feel that lightheadedness because you have too much oxygen. It's really crazy. But for my clients, normally we just do the deep breath. We hold it inside your lungs for 5 seconds. So we breathe in for 5 seconds. You hold it for 5 seconds, and then you slow exhale for 7 seconds.
Wow.
And so that amount of time, just like CrossFit, counting the numbers is very therapeutic, is very, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, helps people become less stressed. I also do this for people before they eat to become less stressed, called 2 minutes to relaxation. 10 breaths, just like that. 5, 5, 7 breaths. So 5-second breath in, 5-second hold, 7 on an exhale. And so that introduces more oxygen into your body, opens your lung capacity, because most people are very shallow breathers. So when you're thinking of, I need to breathe in for 5 seconds, you're like, that's a lot of breath I can take in. And, then you hold it and and that's where that oxygen is staying inside of you. And then as you slow exhale, then you're feeling that oxygen pumping through you because you've sucked in so much.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And I thank you for bringing up that most people are shallow breathers, because as I'm sitting here now, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually took a breath in. I'm like, I am a shallow breather.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. Okay. No, that's really helpful, especially for falling asleep, because I know some people probably struggle with that as well. And sleep is such an imperative thing to, like you said, recovery, and also the psychological benefits as well. Like motivation will be higher. You won't overeat. So sleep is definitely a top priority. Let's go over our final one before we wrap things up. Let's go over consistency, everyone's favorite word. So tell us how consistency will affect muscle gain and fat loss at the same time.
So I like to say nutrition is religion. So you do without seeing, right? So you're doing the steps without seeing the results. And most people, they quit after 2 weeks because I'm not seeing results in 2 weeks.
Oh, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've heard the meme, your body's not Amazon Prime. It's not going to show up in 2 days. Same thing with that consistency, is it takes multiple weeks of that effort in order to see the results. It's not going to snap as quick as, you didn't gain that much in a snap. You're not going to lose that much in a snap.
Yeah.
So it is consistency. Back to that 3 to 4 strength trainings per week and, 3 days of cardio will help you. That consistency, that method, over the course of 12 weeks, we have a client who's done exactly that, has gained almost 7 pounds of muscle in 11 weeks.
Wow.
Dropped almost 13 pounds of body fat mass.
Specifically, just body fat mass alone. Wow.
And the percentage of body fat has dropped 7%. So was that 21? Yep. Was that 22%? Now down to 15% body fat. Visceral fat too. So the fat coating the inside of your body, right? Coating your organs. His visceral fat is down 3 points as well, which is pretty awesome.
That is awesome because visceral fat is very stubborn, especially. Okay, and that's one of the most important health metrics.
Yes.
For type 2 diabetes, colon cancer, heart disease, all that fun stuff. So it's great that he lowered it that
in 11 weeks.
In 11 weeks.
You know, you think of the amount of weeks that you want to see results in, and depends on the effort that you're willing to put in too. You know, we've worked with clients for 11 weeks who don't put a lot of effort in, and the InBody scale shows the results. You know, whereas this individual has literally listened to every single thing that both Coach Kim and I have implemented in this individual's life, and that's the results that he's gotten, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's crazy. It's like, if I know this is a little side quest here, but you know, listen to your coaches. The people who do see the best results are the ones who actually execute on what we tell them to do. They show up when we tell them to do. And if we tell them to work out, hey, you're working out 5 times a week, you're going to eat meat, you're going to eat lean meat, you're going to eat vegetables, a little bit of starch and fruit, a little bit of fruit and seeds and nuts. And that's what we're going to eat for 21 meals. And guess what? People
and then,
see results.
Back to the nutrition as religion, you see the results then. It's no longer a religion. You actually see the results in action. After, you know, at least 6 weeks is where we're seeing results. But when you double that, it's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people who don't see results are also the ones who don't want to push themselves, but then they also complain about the results for the amount of effort that they put in. It's like, I'm so confused. Like you said, you didn't want to push yourself. You want to be this restrictive. You don't want to work out this much. And then yet when we run some tests on you and we get diagnostics, you're complaining about your results. You can't have it all, bro.
Yeah. Yep. I had one client, same thing in a session, said, I don't want to push myself that hard. I feel that too restrictive is too much for me. And she did her InBody scanning and she was mad. And I said,
what are you mad about? You're upset about the work that you didn't put in?
Right. So that's a tough conversation to have with people as well, is like, hey, your effort could be better. You know, I'm leading the horse to water, but you have to choose to drink.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So before we wrap things up here, if there's one thing that people can take away from this podcast for gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time, what would that be?
Eat real food.
Yeah, I love that. I love how simple that is, but how difficult it is. And tell everyone how to do that, or the easiest way to do that.
Ooh, so we have a workshop coming up in September where we're going to teach meal prepping and menu planning 101 so that everybody can learn. How do we sit down first and we make a menu for each day? The 3 meals, right? 21 meals, 3 meals a day. We sit down and we map out what's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Monday. Continue that through the whole week. There's your grocery shopping list. Cool. We go grocery shopping. What do you do after grocery shopping? You wash, chop, and prep. So you don't have to do them the same day. Some people get overwhelmed. Some people hate going to the grocery store. DoorDash, Instacart, they can deliver right to your door for $15, you know?
Totally worth it.
So yeah, for sure. Especially if you have $200 worth of, you know, walking through the store and migrating around, you know, some very slow people who irritate you. It's worth the $15 for you to be proactive versus reactive.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, you have your grocery list. You then figure out what day do I have time to meal prep? Me personally, I like to meal prep as much as possible in one day. I don't want to make 5 days worth of 5 meals. So if you are smart enough to think, hey, if I ground beef here, I can ground turkey here at the same time. I'm in the kitchen for, you know, the same hour. Might as well maximize, turn the oven on, throw some roasted vegetables in there, and then you have that set for the week.
Yeah.
So being proactive in the amount of time that you're spending in the kitchen. Another cool stat I learned is the average American spends less than 26 minutes in the kitchen a day.
Wow.
When it used to be way back in the 50s, you know, women specifically were cooking everything for the men, as they were usually the breadwinners. And we were in the kitchen all the time, you know, kitchen and cooking. We didn't have fast food. And so slowly, as we've had, you know, these fast food and gas station options, we've stayed away from being in our kitchens more. And that would for me, be the biggest thing to implement with clients is fall in love with your kitchen again. That's where the best food is. You mentioned in the beginning, the chef that mentioned put fat and salt on things. They actually, in restaurants, they'll spray the top of your food with spray, cooking oil, so that it looks shiny. You know how much fat that adds?
It's a lot of fat.
But it looks shiny.
It looks cool for the aesthetic, and it makes it probably taste a little bit better too.
Right, right. So, but at home, you influence that. You don't have to have that many calories on your plate.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Krista. I love having you on. Is there any final things that you want to say before we wrap things up here?
It's worth it. It's totally worth it. Like I said, nutrition's a religion, and if you just believe in it and you believe in the proactive mentality, then you're going to see the results.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Krista, for coming on. If you're listening to this, even if you're not part of our gym at Red Wolf CrossFit, Krista still offers a free 1-hour nutrition consult. So if you're interested in that, shoot us a DM on Instagram and we will hook you up with her, and she'll be more than happy to chat with you and help you get some foundational things down for you personally. Thank you so much for listening. If this was helpful, please leave us a 5-star review so we know to make more content just like this. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Red Wolf CrossFit and DM your content suggestions there. We'd love to hear from you and make some more content on topics that you are interested in. Until next time, good luck, have fun. Nailed it.